Good morning. We're back with another hobby stream. I'm here. You're here. We're both here together. We're painting more goblins. We've got more batch painting on the docket for today. Today we're gonna move on to like the browns and the teeth and all that stuff. We finished all the skin yesterday, which is awesome. So the first thing we need to do is we need to lay down, of course, our shade tones. So we're going to start with some Curious Leather. So the lovely dark brown. I use this color a lot. So much Duncan Road should pay me to advertise for it. He won't, but he should. I hope everybody's doing okay this morning, not dropping their models on the ground like me. Alright, so the parts that are going to be brown, if you look at this guy, he's all brown, but the parts that are going to be brown are things like the breastplate on the inside, this belt around his waist. So not a lot of things are going to be brown on this pose. Just like I said yesterday, I'm going to be doing them as different colors. Alrighty. That's it. That's literally all the brown we're going to be doing on these particular ones. Just trying out some new music this morning. Because I feel like I've played the same one every single time. Oh no. That's one of the things I was worried about happening. Is getting some brown on the model. Skin that we've already painted. It's okay. Water on the brush. Just get it up as best we can. Dry it off. Rinse it off. Be okay. You can barely see it. So this is one of the fun things about painting models with lots of skin first, is that you run the risk of getting it on places where you've already painted the skin, but you need to just be more patient than I was being. And just try your best to avoid all the parts that are already painted. It also helps if you only have paint on the tip of your brush, like this. So very hot in my house. My office does not get cool. Does not cool very well. Let's see what my temperature is at. Yep, it's at the right temperature. It's just hot in the house. Which is what it is, you know? It is what it is. Nope. All right. All right, that's all the cleaver boys done. See, this is when you get into the really like fast part of batch painting, is when you're moving on to the smaller colors. So one of these guys is gonna have brown on his armor, and that's just because one of the colors that I'm using for my colors that are gonna be the signifying colors for these guys is brown. So this one is gonna be brown, just because that's where he was on my positioned on my table. So he's gonna have the brown armor. Congratulations, Mr. Brown. Your little loincloth here is also going to be brown. There was me being impatient again. We need to adjust the camera location somewhere. Somewhat, just because I feel like it's getting... I'm putting the model back here and nobody's able to see it. There we go. That gentleman has his brown painted in. Alright, so this fellow won't have as much brown on him just because his core color is not going to be brown. But things like the belt and his armor here are going to be brown. But these, his loincloth and whatnot are going to be a different color. Whatever color I decide. I don't really have a plan for which ones are going to be which color. Not that it really matters. They're all the same pose. Alright, so I'm going to paint the trim of his shoulder pad brown. But the inside of the shoulder pad is going to be whatever color he is. And the reason why I don't paint all the armor the color that they're going to be is just because I don't want it to be too much of a, I don't want it to be too bright. It's just supposed to be an accent color. It's not supposed to distract from here. Hey, Rox. I did hit my quota. Thank you for asking. Billiano 16. I don't have a Discord, so you're out of luck, and you're probably a bot. But yeah, Rox, I got all the goblin skin painted. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna do this. Now we're going to... Yes. Man, there we go. Because I definitely think that was a bot. Because Twitch has been cracking down on bots, so they've got to try new approaches. They can't just say, "Hey, go here and buy followers." But yeah, Rox, we got all the what you call it? We got all the skin painted yesterday. So we hit our quota. So now we're doing the brown. we go. There we go. That's all the knife boys got their round bases on. Now it's the knife ladies. And since this one's in the same row as the first one that I did that was brown, this one will be brown too. And they're all wearing pants, so she's gonna have a lot of brown on her. Actually, I might paint her pants the khaki color that are that the other ones are gonna have on them. That's probably a better idea. Instead of just doing it all in brown. It's too much brown, in my opinion. Coming out the back there. Alright, well, we'll paint over that one. Time to paint over here. I don't know what color I'm going to paint their hair yet. I think it might just go with a black, because that's what I did with the orcs. Okay. Here, I'm just crouching over to make sure I got all the spots that I wanted to paint brown painted brown. That sleeve, but the edge of her, what you call it? Her, dress. So this one comparatively is going to have very little brown on it. Because she's going to have brown on the belts. You kind of barely even see these belts because she's so slim. Making sure the model wasn't done all funky, but yeah, there is a belt across her chest here. That's all the brown that's going to be on her, because the rest of it's going to be her dress, which is going to be different colors. Dang. Best viewers on stream, boo. I can't even see that. Yeah, Twitch has done good about catching the bots before they can advertise nowadays, which is surprising to me. But I also heard that like when Twitch went through and banned a whole bunch of bots, like audience sizes of like others like big streamers like dropped significantly because they were being followed by so many bots. This is the fun part of batch painting. When you can constantly pick up and put down your models because you're painting the same part on each one, but it doesn't require too much paint. You're not covering like a large area. Okay. So it's all the baseline goblins done. Dang. Sorry, my headphone cord was like on my arm. It's weird. Alright. So now we're moving on to the ranged goblin. This guy's, again, going to be the brown one, just because that's where he is. But there are only 3 of them, so there will be 3 color. There will be 1 color that doesn't get made with these guys. But I haven't decided which one yet, but I'm thinking the eye patch on all of them is going to be brown. Well, I don't know why these guys have brown eye patches. Maybe they think it helps them see better. Actually, I think this would be interesting as a different color on each one. I've changed my mind immediately, which I am wont to do. Hope everybody can hear me well. Hope everybody's having a good morning. And if you're in the United States, it's a 3-day weekend for most people. If it is not a 3-day weekend for you, you have my deepest condolences. As I'm painting this guy, I'm deciding which spots I want to make different colors on the different poses. Or on the different, not poses, different models of this pose. I think it definitely the thing across his chest is going to be brown. But the things that are going to be different are going to be his like loinclothy thing here and the eye patch. And maybe the shoulder pad. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Shoulder pad, eye patch, loincloth. Those are going to be different colors. But on this guy, they're going to be brown because he's the brown one. So the belt across his chest is the only thing that's going to be consistently brown on all of them. And we'll paint that spike a different color too, but I'll paint over that. Because this guy feels kind of primitive in like the way that he dresses. In the sense that he's got a lot of furs and what looks like rough leathers on. So almost like a caveman. So we'll probably sort of make that fit. So I think that's the plan. Alright. Good. So we are going to just do the belt across the chest as brown. I was gonna make the eye patch thing brown, but then I thought to myself, well, that's too recognizable on them. So, like, when you're looking at the model, first off, you're gonna see that color before you see anything else. So it's gonna be it would be a little difficult if they were all just brown. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between them. I said this yesterday, but I'll just reiterate it again. The only reason why I don't, or why I changed the colors of all that stuff is because it's a gameplay consideration. Because this is a game, it's a board game, before it's anything else. And, when you're assigning targets, it's just helpful to have them in different colors so you can say, oh, I'm going to shoot / attack the brown one, or the blue one, or the yellow one, or whatever it is. It also keeps me from painting the same color over and over and over again, which is also very good for me, because it gets boring painting the same color. Yesterday when I was just painting green the whole time, I thought I was going to lose my mind, but you know what? You guys got me through it, so that was nice. Okay, so that's all the ranged boomerang guys. Hello, my name is Grok. Putting tags on them. Well, I could, but the problem with that being rocks is they don't live that long. So I don't want to name them because I don't want to get to know them, you know? Alright, these ones have these big leather chest plates on, so I think I'm just going to paint that brown. And there's only 2 of these guys, so I think I'm going to paint them just... They're going to have these big brown furs on the back, but I think I'm going to paint them red and blue just for funsies. They're like, they're loincloths. Because they're not... Gameplay-wise, they're not different from any other goblin. They look special, so... They're gonna have a lot of brown on, or brownish colors on them, so... This way it just makes it so that they're a little easier to distinguish. So, Rox, you may be interested in this. I was thinking, I think I'm gonna bring back retro game night streams. I haven't decided what day I want to do it on yet. So, but I think the first game that I'm gonna stream, first retro game I'm gonna stream, is gonna be Lost Odyssey. Do you know that one? Alright, so for these ones, I'll figure it out as I go along. Definitely think of this chest up here is going to be Yeah, I think the belt is going to be the only consistently ground thing on these ones too. It is an RPG. I got the box right here. Lost Odyssey. It is it's a turn-based RPG. It was developed by Mistwalker Studios, which is Hironobu Sakaguchi's production studio after he left Square Enix. And Hironobu Sakaguchi is the father of Final Fantasy. He made the first one, and he was involved with every Final Fantasy up until Final Fantasy X. And I still think he had something to do with 10. Yeah, I think he still was producer on 10, but he didn't do anything with 13. He made Lost Odyssey instead of 13. But it's also got music by Nobuo Uematsu, who did the music for Final Fantasy up until Final Fantasy X. So it's very much a Final Fantasy adjacent title. I don't know how you didn't hear of it. Well, I mean, it was exclusively released for the Xbox 360, so if you weren't an Xbox boy, then you probably didn't have it or know anything about it. It was actually the deciding factor in me getting an Xbox 360, because when I got some money when I was in college to buy my next game system, and I was deciding between a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360, and PS3 I wanted because I was a PlayStation person, and I wanted Metal Gear Solid 4. But when I went to the store to buy one, these were the days when we still went to stores to buy things, I was told that, or they didn't have Metal Gear Solid 4, and they didn't have the bundle that was like Metal Gear Solid 4 and PlayStation 4 anymore. So I decided, because I had seen advertisements for Lost Odyssey and it looked really cool, so I decided, hey, I'll buy an Xbox 360 and I'll buy Lost Odyssey, because I really like RPGs, and from what I've seen, this is a cool RPG, so that's what I'm going to do. And I always remember the advertisements for them, because it was, it told you nothing about the game. All it was cinematics from the game, accompanied by that would probably be why you didn't have it, or probably why you didn't hear about it. But it was accompanied by that God, who sings that song? The one who's like, "Remember what the Dormouse said. Feed your head. That was the advertisement for Lost Odyssey. It had nothing to do with the game, really. But I was just, that stuck in my head so much. I was just like, I've got to figure out what this game is about. Like, why are we playing? Why is this music accompanying the advertisements for this game? And it was just cinematics. So I was like, I have no idea what this game is about, but it looks cool. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. If I hate it, I'll trade it in and get something else. Because hell, it's an Xbox 360. It had some of the best games of that generation on it. But I still regret not getting a PS3, if I'm honest. Just because I never got to play Demon Souls. That makes me sad. I'll play that track on repeat during the playthrough. Yeah. Only if I want to get big fat sued. Maybe I'll just play myself singing that the whole time. Can't sue me for that, can they? Expressing myself via the medium of song. My beautiful singing voice. Lady's got a bunch of pouches and stuff. Alright. That's all the brown. The dark brown, that is. Next up, we'll do the base coat for their teeth and their bone parts, which is going to be Xandri dust. Woo. Ah. This paint is older. You can feel it all. Ugh, it's all chunky on the bottom. Ugh. It's gross. I think I need to add a little bit more I need to add a little bit more medium to it, or I need to add some thinner to it. I'll add a little bit of both, just to see if I can't bring it back a little bit. Where's my thinner? I have a little squirt bottle of airbrush thinner. It's here somewhere amongst my stuff. I have too much crap on my desk. That's the problem. Is it over there? No, it's not over there. Where the hell? Did it fall? No? There it is. So a few drops of airbrush thinner. Just to try to bring this paint back. I need to buy some more, honestly. There's an agitator ball in there, but it honestly has it probably has gotten encased in the solid paint. But I think we're bringing it back. Sounds like it. Alright, let's try to get that out. Yeah, I think we got some paint. And not just some watery paint. Alright, so this is going to be on all of them. This is going to be the teeth and bone parts. Oh yeah, that's appropriate consistency. I'm actually going to wipe a little bit of the excess paint off of the side here. And these guys with the cleavers have their like tongue sticking out of the middle, which is kind of hilarious, honestly. Any other parts that are bone? They've got these little skulls on their knees. That could be bone. Yeah, why not? All right. Probably still going to end up using a little bit of wash on their teeth. Just because I don't know how, if depending on how it dries. If it dries nicely, then we won't need to, but if it doesn't, then we might need to. Because this paint is kind of, since I had to thin it so much, it's a little watery. And I'm worried that it's getting into the recesses a little bit too much. Definitely getting into the recesses a little too much. It's fine. We'll just add a wash after all said and done. All right. Next up is the Knifey Boys. Their mouths are so closed. Not close enough that you can't see the teeth. There will definitely be a wash situation to go with these guys. Because, my god. Anything else on them bone colored? It doesn't look like it. It's just their teeth. Will my retro streams begin? No. Is there a night of the week that works best for you? I don't know. I'm thinking I might start doing them on Friday nights, but I don't know if people like to watch streams on Friday nights. Maybe I'll start doing like Tuesday night retro streams or something. I don't know if that would work, but we can try that. Maybe Tuesday night. Tuesday night starting around 8 p.m. Eastern time. Ten p.m. Mountain Time. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Uh, whoop. Let me think. Um, yeah, I paint in the morning, so maybe if I do like a special all day stream, you'll be able to catch more of it. Already got one on there. Forgot what I was doing for a second. Wow, this paint is very runny. Let's see. She's got these things on the top of her head that look like bone as well, so that's why I'm painting them this color. That's really not neat at all, but we'll neaten around it with the other color that's going to be anyway. So this is like, this paint is like super watery because it's old, so I used some thinner to get it to come back to life. And the problem is that it's so watery and it's not doing what I want it to do. There we go. I just had to mix it a little bit more. It's a little better. Replace my palette paper before I move on to more colors, so I'm running out of space on my wet palette. Okay. Now onto the ranged boys. I think they got a little bit more bone on them, but I'm not sure. I know they got these lovely toothy grins. And they've got these bone necklaces, it looks like. Like tusks or something on there. And they've got these little, like, shoulder things. I'm just gonna say is bone as well. Looks like they've got some bones on their belt. Or something. Or are those vials? I can't tell. I'm gonna say they're bones. Next. Alright. One more ranged guy with the boomerang. Alrighty. I think that's all the bone on those guys. Necklace. Alright. Ah! I need some more comfortable ear cushions for my headphones. Ow! Because these are nice headphones. I can't really replace them easily. Alright, these wild ones are going to have a little bit more bone on them than the rest of the guys that we've been dealing with. They've got this big skull on them. They're wearing the pelt of some beast. Drawing so thin, it's not covering hardly any at all. It's like barely drying, or it's barely covering when it dries. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go over this with a different paint. So thin. It's like I'm using a freaking contrast paint or something. This is just regular Xandri dust. And the problem is it's just so old that I had to thin it so much. But yeah, we went to go over these with a wash to get the detail or to get the shadows back, and then we're gonna have to go over it with a different paint. Cause yeah, now that I see it on the big like areas, it's really not drying how I want it to, which is unfortunate. It just means I'm just gonna have to replace that Xandri dust with a newer pot. Either that or find an equivalent of a different paint, because I have to find out what the equivalent is from different paint lines, because I usually don't buy new Citadel paints just because they're so friggin' expensive. And I also don't like the fact that they don't come in dropper bottles. They come in these little pots. So I'm not a fan of those. I like the dropper bottles. It's just like so thin. It's almost like a glaze, but it's too thick to be a glaze. And it's too cloudy to be a glaze. I don't know, man. Not doing what I wanted to, but you know, we'll work it out. That second coat, dry it on, doesn't look terrible. Let me just go back over it. See if that helps. So we have consistency with both of these guys. It's the large flat areas that's having the most problems with. It's going into the recesses, but staying on the large flat areas, it's just not doing it, man. Alright. There's so many bones on this one. Do I even want to bother? I probably should, just to maintain consistency. There's so much of this paint on my wet palette right now. This is just running everywhere. Bone there. Skull necklace. Just had this feeling that my Xandri dust wasn't going to work the way I wanted it to. It's been problematic recently, but not this bad. Until just this moment. I just feel like this is not. This is hurting more than it's helping. Alright. We're gonna pivot. Because I need. This isn't. This just ain't it. We are going to instead. We'll use Skeleton Legion. It's a little bit lighter than Xandri Dust. It's not where I want to start with, but if we're going to be using a wash anyway, it'll dull these down. It'll dull down the Skeleton Legion. I just can't. I know I've been doing it up to this point, dealing with it, but I just can't anymore. I just need paint that's actually going to stick to the model and not just run into the recesses everywhere. Getting a little frustrated with that. That's all. Okay. Wow, that's the mouths on these things are so friggin' interesting because like some of them are like barely there at all. These ones are like snarling. The teeth are so small. So small. Alrighty. I'm just gonna call that done because we're gonna go over it with a wash, and then we'll need up more stuff later. Kind of frustrated with the bone. It's not doing what I want it to do. Paint it over anyway. Not a hole in a bone on her. It's also her mouth. Alright, for the first time, we're going to use some washes on these models, because I gotta do something about these teeth and this bone. Yes. Guess we'll use some of this, some of this Battle Mud Wash. Ugh. Battle Mud Wash. This is brown. Okay. Add it to the mouth. So we can get all those recesses back. And add it to the skulls for the same reason. These guys' mouths are the worst. I think it's probably because of the weird mold line that's like right across their face. Yeah, Avalon Hill, I want to know whose bright idea that was, because you've got a mold line right here through the nose. Wow. I sure hope somebody was fired for that blunder. For my folks listening, that's probably the worst place you want to have a mold line on a model that you want to paint. right across the face. Everybody's gonna look at the model where the faces or where the all the detail is gonna rest. I forgot to paint the bone on the necklace on this one. Okay, I'll just do it now. I'll wash it later. Yep, I forgot to do it on this one too. I thought so. Okay. a barely colored bone on this guy's. The bone on the back of this guy. Wow, I am something else. Okay. Okay, so we'll go for about 30 more minutes. It'll be a shorter stream today, I guess. About 2 hours, not too bad. But unless folks start pouring in and want to hang out and talk, we'll call it at noon my time. Because it's been pretty quiet today, which, you know, it's not a big deal. Usually I'll prolong it if people are hanging out and having a good time and I want to get something done, but nobody's hanging out today, so that's fine with me. I'll get an early lunch. And, pick this up again next week. Probably not on Monday. Monday's Labor Day, and my family will be home, so I'll be hanging out with them. Let's not forget that wicked smile of theirs. My wash is drying up on my paper. So I'll need to freshen that up. Hey, Nunu. I'm good. How are you? I'm a little frustrated with my paint, but other than that, I'm good. Yep, still on the goblins. Probably be on them for a little while. If folks are bored of me painting goblins, I can always try to finish them or make some progress on them off screen, and that way we won't have to watch me paint them as much. Because I might get bored if somebody was painting the same thing every day. I'm glad you're here and enjoying it. Just hanging out, you know? Okie dokie. Added the shade to all of the bone parts because my bone paint was not cooperating with me this morning. Thank you. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy with how they're coming out. Thinking about what color I want to put on next. I think We'll get a start on the other brown accessories. We're using Dust Bowl. And I'll probably use this for all of the armbands. And like the boots. Do I listen to anything while painting? I've got some music on in the background. Usually when I'm painting solo, like not on stream, I will listen to like a podcast or something. Podcasts about what? Um, Varying things. A lot of times I'll listen to. I have a bunch of podcasts that I listen to fairly regularly. The ones that I listen to the most are I listen to Last Podcast on the Left, which is about like serial killers and uh, paranormal things. Listen to the Chilluminati podcast, which is also about serial killers and paranormal things. I also listen to a podcast called We Hate Movies, which is about bad movies, and they watch it. They talk about a movie and kind of tear it apart, good, bad, or otherwise. And it's funny. Those are some of the podcasts that I listen to pretty frequently. Also, Nerd of Mouth, which is a podcast about like nerd culture and stuff like that. So yeah, those kind of podcasts. I have one hobby podcast that I listen to. It's called Trapped Under Plastic. They talk about miniature painting and stuff like that. Oh, you like paranormal stuff and true crime? New. Well, yeah. Last Podcast on the Left is a good one. I also used to do a podcast with my friends Alec and Travis, where he talked about paranormal things. We did it's called The Skeptic's Guide to the Spooky Side. We'd love to do it again. It's just a matter of scheduling the time to do the recording and all that stuff and do the research. That was our paranormal podcast. I talked about the knot deer on there. That's a fun Appalachian story. Do I have any personal paranormal stories? I do not. Nothing interesting paranormal wise has ever happened to me, unfortunately. I wish I did. I wish I had a paranormal story. Because I think I'd like. America has a lot of paranormal stuff going on. It does in some places, I think. More so than others. But I think I'd love to see. I'd love to see a ghost, honestly. Just to get like the experience. And just for my own edification to be like, oh, ghosts are real. Okay, cool. I would also love to meet a Sasquatch. I think that would be awesome. I'd love an encounter with the Mothman. That would be cool. Around where I live, I want to see it, but at the same time, I don't want to see it. Yeah, I understand that. I really want to see it, which is probably why it will never happen to me. Around where I live, the only real, like, there aren't really too many, like, legendy legends. There's a bunch of, like, I mean, there's a bunch of, like, urban myths and stuff like that that you get everywhere. Like, for instance, in the town where I live, there's like there was a pillar, like just a lone standing pillar made of like concrete, and allegedly that was part of like a slave market at one point. Because I live in the southeast, the American southeast, um, and supposedly that pillar was cursed. That if you touched it, you would die. But that pillar no longer stands because somebody crashed their car into it and knocked it down. But the person who crashed their car into it didn't die. But yeah, that's about all the paranormal stuff that happened here in where I live. It's not a unique story. There's a lot of towns in America where they have like little like local legends like that. Yeah, you think if it was real that them crashing their car into the pillar would have killed them, but nope, they were fine. I'm sure in a few years, though, the myth will change. Somebody will say, like, oh, but they died, just to add to the story and make it sound better, which is how these things happen. But yeah, I'd love an encounter with the paranormal. I see what you said about skinwalkers. Yeah, that's one of those things that I don't know. I don't put too much stock in. I'm very much a skeptic when it comes to paranormal stuff. I like to think about it. I like to talk about it. I like to believe that it's real, but there's a part of me that just like can't wrap their head around certain things. Skinwalkers are one of those things just because you hear a lot of stories about them, but like, I don't know if it's like how true it is because I mean, there's never been like any evidence or anything besides just people's stories. Nobody's ever caught one on tape, as far as I know. Like, you can't find a legit video online of like, skinwalker caught in the act of skinwalking. good with the brown. Hi, Soul. They probably are fakes. That's the problem, Soul. But yeah, I like aliens. I like to think that there are aliens. I've actually seen a lot of stuff online. Not recently, but I've heard a lot about aliens in like South America. Apparently alien encounters in South America are like super violent. So I don't know. That's kind of wild to me. Yeah, I've heard that too. That a lot of times that the aliens aren't necessarily like coming from outer space. They might be under the ocean. It's another thing that I've seen people talk about online. But I don't know. It's another one of those things like, I think I probably won't hardline believe in aliens until one, like, parks a UFO, like, in the middle of Times Square and comes up and says, "Hi, my name is Glip Glorp." Oh, Saul, you saw an alien? I didn't know this story. What did the craft look like? Morning, Robbie. The day? The day is, Goblin Day. Sorry, I'm shaking my head like that. My earphones are being weird. Huh? That's a weird story, Soul. Seeing UFOs. No, it's okay. I love the paranormal stuff. I'm just, tuning in every now and then. No, I have never had a paranormal encounter. I was just telling Nunu about that. I've never had a paranormal encounter. I'd like to have one, but I think that's the reason why I haven't had one, is because I want it so bad, I'm gonna take my headphones off for just a second. Oh gosh. You just take a quick break. No, I don't think you're trying to scare me, Robbie. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the paranormal. I think that it's interesting. I'd like to have a paranormal encounter at some point. I really want to just see a ghost or a Sasquatch or something. Or maybe an encounter with the Mothman. That would be cool too. Because, I mean, what's a ghost gonna do to you, right? Bigfoot? That's an interesting one because I don't know if he's real, but I like to think that he's out there, honestly. And that's the thing, yeah. There's a lot of videos out there, but nobody knows if they're real or not, or hoaxes and stuff like that. Because I mean, like, even like the big one from like, the original Bigfoot footage, the Patterson Gimlin film, that is still kind of suspect. Like, it doesn't really feel real. It looks like a guy in a monkey suit. But, you never know. I like to think that he's out there, or she, or whatever. I like to think that we got Sasquatches, So, who can say whether or not Sasquatch or Bigfoot or whatever you want to call them are real? But, I like to imagine possible a possibility that he's out there, An old lady asking you for help and moving things around in your room, trying to get your attention. A friend who gets possessed by guide spirits, or part of his religion. That's wild, man. That's all I can say about that. Which story, Saul? One day when you're at your house, when you were little, you don't know how, we got to received an angel. That's what your mom told you. So you came, so you came home from school. You got to come home early from school because there was an angel at your house. Did that angel not care about your education? Seems very irresponsible for an angel. I mean, just saying. Yeah, that's a bit weird, Nunu. I haven't heard about that one. But you know, to each their own, I suppose. No, it's not for me. Okay. So, visitor. Yeah, yeah. That is funny. It's a weird story. Hmm. Interesting. Welcome back from the ads, Soul. Thank you for your money. You had a girlfriend that could see ghosts? Crazy but interesting at the same time. Yeah. I don't know. I'm super skeptical about anyone who claims that they can speak to the dead or like see ghosts or channel spirits or any of that jazz. And the reasons why, I forgot to do the brown on this one. The reason why is usually when you have a person who says that they can do that, you could see them as well. I mean, you know, that it's the same thing. I mean, you know, see or speak or anything like that. It's impossible to verify what they're doing or what they're saying with like, oh, I can see spirits, because well, it's stuff that only they can see. So you know, they can't like, you know, give you any sort of like hard evidence that what they're seeing is real or not, because you know, perception belongs only to you. You can't tell people, oh, I'm seeing this, and they can't say yes or no. So I mean, there's no way to say no, you're not seeing that, or yes, you are seeing it. But when it comes to people who speak to the dead or anything like that, I'm always super skeptical about that, because the stuff they say is always super broad. Because you get all these mediums. That's kind of freaky. But yeah, it's like all these mediums and stuff like that. They'll say stuff like, you know, yeah, they fish for information. They do like do you know somebody with somebody in your life have a name that starts with a B, with a B, with a B, with a B? Somebody you know starts with a B, and they'll just like, they fish for like super non-specific information, and they deal in like very generic comments. They'll say things that sort of like seem like they're legit, but in all actuality, all they're doing is they're just finding something that sticks, and they'll, once they find that hook, they'll chase it. That's generally how they work. They see how much you're willing to give up, and they just, you know, they they push that until they can make it seem as authentic as possible. So that's why I'm always super skeptical of the people who are like, oh, I can see ghosts or whatever. Like I'm seeing something around. I'm seeing something. I'm seeing something circular. Oh, my wedding ring is a circle. That kind of thing. It's just like that's a bit of a dumb example, but the other thing that they say is like, or those one of my favorite things that I've heard them say is like, oh hey, if I say something and it may not resonate right away, but if you think about it afterwards, something will come to you. I'm just like that. That just seems like it's a lot of complete and total bullshit, and that's all it is. Like Robbie says, it's social engineering. Well, so with that, I'm gonna rain on your parade a little bit here. So forgive me, because I'm the eternal skeptic, especially when it comes to like supernatural stuff. Um, with that, it's kind of like a build up, and it feels like that because you're expecting it. You're already predisposed to think that way. If somebody knows that you believe in ghosts or that you are predisposed to believe in the paranormal, you know, he could tell you like, oh, what's that? What's that behind you? It's like a little. It's a little girl. Oh, no, she's coming. She's coming right for you. She's touching your neck. She's scraping your nails right up against your neck. And then you're going to feel something because you're already predisposed to think about, oh, there's a creepy little girl ghost behind me. Thank you, Nunu. I appreciate that. That's just me pissing on everybody's parade. Because, I don't know. I think that, I think a lot of people who believe in the paranormal get taken advantage of by people who are only looking to take your money or, just pull one over on you, Some people don't even want to take your money, they just want the satisfaction of feeling like, oh, I fooled this person. It's just how some people are, and I don't know. It's not me, man. But in the end, honestly, believe whatever you want. I'm never going to tell people what to believe and what not to believe. I just know what I think about most people who are like these big paranormal people, or people who claim to have paranormal experiences or abilities. I think a lot of it boils down to the desire to feel and be special. Yeah. Well, Travis almost died. Or Travis actually did die for a little while. You can ask him about it sometime. That's his story to tell, not mine. Yeah, Travis is my best friend, He's or one of my best friends. And he does he does a lot of we do a lot of stuff together, like game wise and stream wise, and a lot of the folks who follow me also follow him. But yeah, he died. He was legally dead for a little while, for like a few seconds. So ask him about it. You are one of my best friends, Saul. Even though I've never met you in real life. Yeah, I think that all of our little group at some point should all get together in the real world at some point. Soul's Soul's as American as this administration lets him be. Yeah. And by the administration, I mean the presidential administration. In case you didn't catch that. No. I'm mostly German. Because my grandparents came over from Germany after World War II. And my mother's side of the family is just sort of a mix of everything. I speak a little bit of German. Not enough to carry on a conversation. Oh, gosh. Soul, thank you for the prime. There you go. Thank you for the prime. Yeah, guten Tag is good afternoon. Guten Morgen is good morning. Guten Tag. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? That means I speak German. Ich sprech. Ich sprech. Something like that. I don't know. Sprechen Sie Deutsch is do you speak German? What's fuck you in German? I think it's ficken du? If I had to guess. Fick dich. Yeah, that's probably right. Get you some coffee. That's a good point. Gotta learn language. Gotta learn other languages, curse words, because what if they call you something nasty? Because how else are you gonna know that Italian guy is calling you a cunt if you don't know what it is in Italian? French, German, and Portuguese. The best ones are always the Spanish and Portuguese. It has that emotion. Yeah, no, I get that. German's a harsh language, so anything you say in that one kind of sounds like you're cursing at someone. But yeah, there's something about cursing in a romance language that's just it just makes you feel like you're really telling them something. I realized as I was painting these that I did not paint the toes on this particular guy. I missed the feet completely, so I'll have to go back and do that at some point. But that's okay, I can always fix. I can always fix. Can you paint one of the hats teal? Well, it's not completely out of the question. I have four set colors that I usually go with. Wrist is starting to stiffen up. I'm probably gonna call it here in a minute. I'll hang out and chat for a little while, because my wrist is starting to stiffen up, and I've been almost going for 3 hours, so I'll probably hang out and talk for just a little while. But I've said this before, but I have four set colors that I'm going with for the models, which is blue, red, yellow, and brown. So those are the four colors I usually go with. But there is nothing to say that I can't put teal on one of them. Teal was a little blue. I have some vaguely tealish colors, but not that one. This one is more of a greenish blue, but I don't know if I have teal even. But I have teal shades. But it's not out of the question. I might do one of the hats with some teal on it, or whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly, in the long run. Mostly it's me just being a little anal about how I paint these things. But we made some decent progress today. With the bone, and we got all of the brown done. And we got all of the bone stuff base coated and shaded. And then we got a good start on the second brown. This is gonna end up being more of a khaki-ish. Oh god, my wrist's like popping like crazy. Um, so we're moving right along. We're footloose and fancy free. Um, I'm thinking about, because I know where I'm gonna put the light brown on the rest of the stuff. It is currently 12:38 right now where I am, p.m. as in the afternoon. So it's going to be lunchtime too. So that's another thing. I'm starting to get hungry as well. But we've got decent progress here. And I'm pretty I'm pretty pleased. No, probably no cooking stream. Usually I knock off at lunch. I might stream later tonight. But I usually stream gaming stuff at night and painting stuff in the morning. So that'll probably be what I continue to do. But yeah, we've made some decent progress. Honestly, these goblins are sorry. They are the biggest batch of monsters that I have left to paint, I think. At least the ones with the most variety to them. And then after that, I'll probably start working on the hordes of the undead. What do I play? We play a lot of stuff. Last night, me and Travis were playing Deep Rock Galactic, which is a lot of fun. We had a ball playing that. I play Teamfight Tactics in League of Legends a lot. Not necessarily on stream, but we've done it before on stream. We've been doing Peak recently on stream. I'm gonna start doing my retro game stream. I used to stream retro games all the time. That used to be the only thing I streamed. But then my son was born, and I had to stop streaming for a long time. And I came back, and I figured I'd do painting, which has been a lot of fun so far, and will continue to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. But yeah, so I'll probably do that. I'm thinking maybe Tuesdays. I talked about this earlier on the stream, but Tuesdays, I think around 8 p.m. Eastern time, or when I'm gonna start doing my retro game streams. The first retro game that I'm gonna be playing is Lost Odyssey. Almost dropped it. This is a game for the Xbox 360, developed by Mistwalker Studios, which is Hironobu Sakaguchi's game development studio. He did a 2-game deal with Microsoft Studios. He did he did Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey. Lost Odyssey is pretty cool because it's basically like a new Final Fantasy, without being named Final Fantasy, because it's got like Nobuo Uematsu, who did the music for all of Final Fantasy games, pretty much. And yeah, so it's a pretty cool game, and I played it a long time ago. Got pretty far in it. Never beaten it. I don't think it's a very long game. So that'll be a fun one to play. You can't get past the first island. We've gotten to the top. Soul's gotten to the top more than any of us. We've gotten to the top together once, I think. I want to say we've only gotten there once. I'm noticing something. Like a little spot in this like eye patch thing that wasn't colored in, that was annoying me. But yeah, Soul's beaten it like 5 times already. But yeah, so... Oh, 8 of you? The modded one? Jesus. So that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of people climbing. Yeah, no, we gotta make it to the top. We got close that second time. We got close. So we fell right at the caldera. Which is a damn shame. But oh gosh, I gotta get something to eat. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Let me check. Jesus. Scare the crap out of me. Did you guys hear that? You guys didn't hear the John Cena. Yeah, I have to figure out how to get those to work with the way that my stream is set up. Scared the crap out of me. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Let me check and see if there's anybody we can raid real quick. See who's on. Robbie is streaming. Bye, Nunu. Yeah, I got scared by John Cena. Robbie is streaming. We rated him yesterday. Let's see if there's anybody in minis, miniatures, and models that's streaming. Anything interesting? I don't really know any of these people. Alright, well. We'll raid Robbie. Give him the raid. And I'll hang out and lurk in his stream while we do that. So, hang on. I'm gonna move my camera in real time. There we go. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, Soul, Robbie, Nunu. Gonna raid Robbie. And because he's working on his diorama, so oh, and he's got a cat cam too? Heck yeah. It's gonna be great. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I love you all. I'm gonna go get some lunch. This diorama that he's making looks like it's coming along pretty cool. So yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me, as always. It makes the work go much faster. It makes the painting go much faster. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out. I hope everybody had a good time, and I will see you guys next week. We'll be busy with the fam, so have a good day.
Hey. How's it going, Felix? Hey, Soul. Hey, Felix. It's going okay. What do you think so far? Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, gotta have the cat cam. Oh, better yet,